sit down. I'm going to take a few minutes with you, okay? Okay, my name is Mark Soto. You met me today. I've been a football coach for 18 years, and I can't even tell you how honored we are to have you guys in this event. I mean, I got emotional on the parade deck today, right? Guys, this is special. Last year, when we were doing this event here, we saw you guys warming up, and my partner and I looked at each other and we went, we gotta get the girls in this. We gotta get the girls in it. And here you are. Here you are. The first game of the Honor Bowl is the Cathedral Catholic Dons. Come on! Oh my goodness. We go to Phoenix after this and we re-rack this whole thing with other girls, but you guys are the first! I love it. So I want to give you guys a little breakdown of what the Honor Bowl is about. I wanted you guys to know the heart of the Honor Bowl and why we do this, okay? You saw a little today when you went to the Memorial Garden how special that was. But I told you already that I used to be a football coach. And when I was a football coach, I had boys that were my sons that when they saw the towers fall, they said, Dad, we want to go serve. So one went Marines, one went Army, right? The Marines ended up serving with the 3rd Battalion, 5th Marines, and you learned a little bit about them today. But in 2010, when he was going on that deployment, he never told me where he was going. He never said, Dad, this is where I'm going. We always had an idea where he was going, but we never knew on this deployment where he was going. So what we would do is we'd go to Camp Pendleton and we'd buy a keg of beer and get all the Marines together and they'd be all like, we're ready to fight, rah, get some, right? But this one was a little different. The boys were a little tense. The boys were a little off. And I was like, something's not right. Something's not right about this one. And then my boy took me by the shoulder. He said, Dad, let's go for a walk. I said, what's going on? He goes, you're leaving your party. He goes, Dad, I haven't told you where we're going yet. I want you to know. He goes, Dad, we're going to this place in Afghanistan called Sangin. Do yourself a favor. Don't Google it. What do you think I did? Dad?
Google it.
Immediately Googled it. Pulled out my phone, started looking, and he's now walking away going, hey, Dad, I'm going to be okay. Don't worry. And I'm just sitting there going, what's this Sangin place? And within minutes, I learned that the British Royal Marines were there for 4 years, and they lost the most men they've ever lost during the Afghanistan conflict. Over 200 men, thousands wounded. And this is where my son was going. So, they left. They left, and Mom and I were just freaking out. And then this is where it gets weird. He tells me later, when he came home, is when they were landing in their FOB, they were hearing pings coming off their helicopter. As they were landing in the relative safety of their base, they were getting shot at. They were surrounded by white flags. Now, when we hear a white flag, what do we think of? Surrender, right? No, not to the Taliban. The Taliban put these white flags on the ground, and in black spray paint, they spray paint, death to the Americans, death to the infidels. The first patrol, they acclimate to the base. The first patrol leaves the base. And as the patrol leaves, you know, they're ready to get some, right? You saw some Marines today. They're proud. The first Marine patrol leaves the base. Boom! The boom was so loud that it shook their base. So they all radio with the guys. Guys, you okay? Radio silence. When they get out to where the guys were, they all get ready and they go out there and they say, what happened to that patrol that just left? When they get out there, there was a Taliban around, I don't know, 2 blocks away, and he detonated a bomb. The bomb so big that it lifted up the Humvee, twisted it like a corkscrew, and 4 Marines were instantly killed. Around 3 days later, I'm a coach in Green Bay High School, California. You might have heard of it. I get a call from a friend. Coach, we just heard there was a Marine killed here in Granite Bay. You might know the family. He used to play football. I got to call the family. I got to find out who it is. So I'm calling the family. I finally get a hold of them, and they're on their way to get their son's body in Dover. And that's when I learned who it was. It was Victor Dew. He used to play ball for me. It hit home, guys. They went and got their son's body. They brought the body home, and I got to talking to the family, and the family looks at me and says, Coach, will you eulogize our son? I'd be honored. I'd be honored to eulogize your son. So I did. I watched the flag over the coffin. I heard taps. And I watched his body get lowered into the ground. And then several days later, my son calls me from Afghanistan on a satellite phone. He's like, Dad. My colonel tells me a coach eulogized Victor Dew. Was that you, Dad? I said, yes, son. That was me. He was Dad. I was there. I pulled him into the vehicle. Changed my life. Changed my life. As a football coach, I had friends. I had to do something. So I thought, well, what about if I get this coach? Or what about if I get this coach and I get this coach? And we all come together and we play for a cause. We play for the men and women that are losing their legs, that are coming back changed, that their minds aren't right. What about if all of us come together and we raise money for them? That's the story of the Honor Roll. The greatest high school football showcase in America. You guys are a part of that. I wanted you to hear that story so you understand the heart. And after 210 high schools we've entertained, many of them in this high school, I still get emotional when I tell that story. It hits. And I want you guys to feel that. I want you to know why you're playing in this game. Now I have a 3-5 Marine that I want you to meet. You met him earlier today. He's got a little bit more he wants to tell you about. Let's give it up for First Sergeant Peter.
All right, good afternoon. Just like I said earlier, it's a tremendous honor and privilege to be here. You girls are making history. I tell the staff behind us, this honorable, it's already big. It's a huge showcase, but it's going to blow up. And you are part of history, being the first girls team to play at the honorable. So I talked about Lance Corporal Irvin Ceneseros this morning. They talked about Lance Corporal Victor Dew just now. Let me fast forward to December 30th, 2010, just 3 months after Victor Dew and Lance Corporal Irvin Ceneseros, still insane in Afghanistan. I want to talk to you about an individual that was out on patrol that day. It was December 30th, 2010. There were 25 Marines out on a patrol in a new area. They had gone out for about 4 or 5 hours, and they were making their way back. They talked to local nationals, gained intelligence, just like the patrol that I talked about this morning. And they were making their way back into the patrol base. There was 25 Marines on that. And on the back of that patrol, one of the Marines stepped on an IED, an improvised explosive device, a homemade bomb. That bomb was 25 pounds big. That bomb was supposed to wipe out all 25 Marines. Luckily, only 4 pounds or so went off. That means the foot of that Marine that stepped on it was shattered. That's all that happened to him. They got him out of there, they got him into the patrol base, got him in a truck, and got him out of Afghanistan. He's doing fine. But because there was 20 plus pounds still sitting out there of homemade explosive, the Marines had to go back out and blow it in place so the Taliban wouldn't pick it up and use it again. So the squad leader made the decision, only 4 Marines are going out this time. They're going to go put a stick of demolition on there, blow it in place, and get back in the patrol base. As they were placing the stick of demolition down, the Taliban from the east, from the murder holes that I talked about, opened up another ambush, another engagement. They started firing at the Marines. 3 Marines ran around the corner, around an alleyway, and the sergeant, the squad leader, was shot twice in the legs. The Marines that were around the corner opened up their rifles, turned their rifles to the enemy, and they started firing. The squad leader, the sergeant, put his rifle up and ran to the direction of fire, started pressing his rifle, shooting back at them. He ran for about 20 meters until he got behind a wall where he was going to take cover, and he landed on his back. Waist-high wall, got on his back, he looked up, and his camouflage uniform was filled in blood. Here comes the team leader, one of the ones that came around the corner, sprinting, firing at the Taliban back and forth, rounds being engaged back and forth. And he slides in, takes his scissors off, cuts off his pants, and there was blood gushing out from one of the legs. The femoral artery had been hit. So he starts treating him. He puts his fingers in, he puts his palm down, he puts all his weight on it, he puts Gauss on it, puts the tourniquet on, gets the radio, starts calling the quick reaction force inside the base. Hey, I need a litter out here. I need a platform to pick him up, a stretcher. We need to get my squad leader out. We need to get my sergeant out. So the team comes out there. They put the sergeant on the stretcher. And at this point, the Taliban and the Marines are going back and forth, engaging with machine guns, with weapons, with rockets, back and forth. On the count of 3, that team leader says, we're going to pick up my sergeant, we're going to get him in the back of the truck. So on the count of 3, they pick him up, and all guns start going back and forth. They start making their way into the truck about 20 meters. The sergeant that had been shot looks up, and it's his best friend, another sergeant, and he grabs his hand tight, and he says these last words. Tell my mom I love her, and tell my boys I'm sorry. And he holds tight one more time. And he says, tell my mom I love her, and tell my boys I'm sorry. And his hand falls. They get him in the truck, they get him out of Afghanistan, they get him to Germany, they get him down here to San Diego actually, Balboa Hospital, about 30 minutes south from here. The sergeant made it. But it wasn't easy. Let me tell you the challenges he faced. The doctors were going to amputate his leg, too much nerve damage. It was gone. That's what the doctors told him. By the way, you're getting medically retired. Your career's over. We understand you've done 6 years to this point, but it's done. You can't serve with an amputated leg. That was January 2011. That sergeant took it upon himself, took the challenge that by April 15th, when the battalion made it back home, that he was going to stand at the bottom of that staircase when that plane landed at March Air Force Base in Riverside, and he was going to stand there fully medically ready to hug his entire squad. So he went at it January, February, March, and then April comes around. 2 to 3 physical therapies a day, 6, 7 times a week, and he got it. And I'll tell you, April 15th, when the battalion landed at March Air Force Base, I stood there at the bottom of that staircase, and I received my entire squad, and I hugged every single one of them. The doctors told me that my leg was getting amputated. The doctors told me that my career was over. That was in 2011. And I stand here now, 2024, sharing that story with you for a couple of reasons. People used to ask me, share your warrior case study. Share it with us, what you went through. And there was a little bit of guilt, there was shame because I went down. I felt like it was my fault. I let my squad down. And I didn't want to share it. And almost 2 years ago, I came to my knees. God brought me to my knees and said, it's time for you to share that story. It's time to let go of the guilt. It's time to let go of the shame. And now, thankfully, because of God, I get to share this story as my testimony. It's no longer a warrior case study, it's a testimony. And I'm also super grateful that I get to work and minister youth and young adults. And that's what I get to do now. Last year when I was here, I wasn't doing all of that. I picked up youth ministry and young adults because God put it in my heart. He said, you have this gift and you have all these stories and you're going to share it. And I share it in front of you today because you're going to face your own challenges in life. It may not just be out on the field and you get hit and it sucks and it hurts. It might be in a relationship. It might be in a family. It might be in a car accident. Fill in the blank. It might be an injury that you take. But I tell you right now, it's all mental. Because I put myself through a lot to make sure that I could stand there at the bottom of that staircase and receive my entire squad. And I'm one of the most physically fit, and I don't just say that to put myself out there, but because I work at it. And it hasn't been easy. I'm a personal trainer, I'm a force fitness instructor, I'm a martial arts instructor trainer. But none of that has came easy. And have I made mistakes and have I failed along the way? Absolutely. But through the grace of God, I'm still here. And I'm able to share that story with you. None of those failures, mistakes, and the things that I've gone through define me. Only God does. Thank you again for the opportunity. Best of luck out there, and God bless every single one of you.
Yes, stand up, guys. Stand up. Where's my coach? Where's my coach?
Right here.
It was so nice to meet you today, sir. So nice. Okay, some housekeeping real quick, okay? Coach, we've got some banners set up, all right? We're gonna have the girls, or one of the girls, have the honor of carrying the flag when we do the introduction of your team through those banners. Who is the young lady that you want to have carry the flag?
On the spot. Emily Schroep.
Emily. All right, so that means when it's time, you guys are gonna come to the banner section, all right? I'm gonna hand you the flag, and then I'm gonna introduce you through that little banner tunnel, okay? All right, I'm so excited for you guys. I'm excited, all right? All right, after the game, we're gonna line up on the 50-yard line after you guys do your handshakes, and your coach is gonna choose who is gonna be the character winner of the game. That's the athlete that's exhibited the most spirit, brotherhood, character on the field. The Max Preps media that is here is going to choose which one of you is the MVP winner, and we will give you that trophy. And then directly after that, we're going to hand this coach and the Cathedral Catholic Dons the championship trophy, right? We have some gifts for you guys. They're bands, all right? They should all fit you, all right? If you need more, just come by the booth. We'll get you more. But please make sure all the girls get one of these bands. Come in tight, hands up, hands up. Okay, the Marines have a saying, and it's 3-5, get some. 3-5, get some. So when I say 3-5, you yell get some, right? 3-5! Get some! Get some! Get some!
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 2024 Honor Bowl. My name is Mark Soto, and I'm the Executive Director and co-founder of the Honor Group, who is the creator of the Honor Bowl. We are a nationwide nonprofit whose mission is to educate student athletes, coaches, and community about the needs of our military veterans. Today, before the start of the we would like for you to focus your attention to the center of the field. Here is where we have a few distinguished guests for the building of the battle cross. Please maintain the sanctity of the ceremony. We ask you to refrain from clapping or cheering. When a serviceman or woman is lost in the battlefield, it has become customary to raise their rifle pointing downward along with their boots and helmet. Surviving members of their squad gather around and memorialize their fallen comrades. Some of the troops will pray, others might recall personal stories, but make no mistake, this is a ceremony that is taken very seriously. Every soldier knows the next ceremony might be for them. When a rifle bayonet is down onto the ground, it is a memorial of a soldier killed in action. It also signals a time for a prayer, a break in the action to pay tribute to our friend and hero. Placing the rifle was First Sergeant Freddie Torres, Company First Sergeant of Recruit Training Regiment San Diego. First Sergeant Torres is a Purple Heart recipient, was wounded in action in the Helmand province of Afghanistan in 2010. The cowboy boots represent the final march of the soldiers' last battle. Placing the boots is Gold Star sister, Melissa Hanks, Ketchel, honoring her brother, Lance Corporal Michael Hanks, 3rd Battalion, 1st Marines, Camp Pendleton, California. Lance Corporal Hanks was killed in action on November 17, 2004, during combat operations. Lance Corporal Hanks was awarded the Silver Star for conspicuous gallantry, saving many Marines during the Second Battle of Fallujah. The helmet is also a symbol of this great sacrifice. The helmet is being placed by Gold Star dad, Tom Schumacher, honoring his son, U.S. Marine Lance Corporal Victor Dew, killed in action October 13, 2010. And finally, the dog tags identify the soldier's name, so he or she will never be forgotten. Placed the tags are Gold Star Mom, Patty Schumacher, honoring her son, U.S. Marine, Lance Corporal Victor Dew, 20, on Birthday, California, assigned to the 3rd Battalion, 5th Marines in the Sandy District of Helmand, Afghanistan, who died of wounds sustained when enemy forces attacked his unit with improvised explosive device. Patty is placing the tags on the rifle that Victor wore when he was killed. Now, ladies and gentlemen, while you are still standing and our Gold Star families and military members are centered on the 50-yard line, we would like to acknowledge all of our military personnel who have given their lives for their country. We will have a moment of silence followed by the playing of taps. And now, ladies and gentlemen, please direct your gaze to the
Come on out, shake hands.
Hi. Great. Hi. Nice to meet you. Ashley. Nice to meet you.
Savannah.
Ashley.
Savannah.
Alexandra. Ashley, nice to meet you.
All right, we're looking for good, clean, fun game. Good sportsmanship's what we're looking for. All right. Have a coin, there's the heads and the tails. The tails and the heads. You get to call, what would you like to call? Heads. And it's tails. What would you like to do? Oh, all right. What side of the field would you like to defend? All right, go ahead and line up over there on that side. Over here on this side. See the ball on this side. All right, shake it up one more time. Let's bring the teams out.
Good luck. Good luck. Good luck.
Good luck. Good luck. Good luck. Good luck. Good luck.